Good morning. I'm going to talk to you about Daniel Bernoulli, as pictured here. He was born on January 29th, 1700 in the Netherlands. He lived most of his life in France. He attended college at the young age of 13. He is most famous for his book, Hydronica, which was published in 1738. This book outlines what we call today Bernoulli's principle. Scandalously, his father tried to steal and take credit for his work. He lived from 1700 to 1782, a time period where he could have listened to Bach and Mozart play live. He could have also read about America gaining their independence as a nation. And lastly, he could have worn bifocals made by Benjamin Franklin. Bernoulli's principle states, as speed of moving liquid, solid, or gas increases, the pressure within the fluid decreases. For example, blowing on a piece of paper. So in other words, the speed of the air on top of the paper decreases with the pressure, while the pressure underneath remains the same. This is what is known as lift. What would the Wright brothers have done without lift? This is how lift works. This gold ornament will represent the airplane, and the hairdryer will represent the air. The reason that this happens is that the air travels under and simultaneously travels around. Because of the speed of the air, low pressure is formed on top, while high pressure remains on the bottom because there is no air movement. This is what keeps the plane aloft. Because I will demonstrate that this is true. If this was not true, I would not be able to tilt the hairdryer to the side and have the ball still float. One thing Wilbur and Oroville did not have to worry about was turbulence. Have you ever had a bumpy ride in an airplane? This is how it happens. Turbulence occurs when there is a disturbance above the ping pong ball. So, in other words, when you are riding in an airplane, the disturbance does not come from below you. It comes from above you. Not only does Bernoulli's principle apply to flight, it also applies to summer fun. Ever like to shoot water at your younger brother or sister from a water hose? If you've used your thumb to cover the opening of the garden hose, you are using Bernoulli's principle. Because the amount of space is decreased that water has to flow through, the water comes out faster and travels further when your thumb is placed over the hose. In conclusion, Daniel Bernoulli was an esteemed scientist. The Bernoulli principle has paved the way to many modern conveniences, such as airplanes to powerful shower heads, just to name a couple. spirit of Christmas. Oh, it looks like Santa is on Mrs. White's roof, and she forgot to put out her fire. The Bernoulli's principle actually applies to smoke escaping the chimneys. The smoke rises up the chimney partially because heat rises. The smoke is forced up the chimney due to Bernoulli's principle. The slightest breeze blowing across the top of the chimney makes the air pressure go down. The higher air pressure at the bottom, near the fire, forces the smoke upward toward the roof of the chimney and beyond. Thus, the smoke is drawn up through the chimney because of the pressure differences. So no smoke comes out into the house, but if you want Santa to come back to your house, please don't experiment with Bernoulli's principle on December 24th of any year. Not only does Bernoulli's principle apply to flight, it also applies to summer fun. Ever like to shoot your younger brother or sister with a water hose?